Hey, everybody. This is your host, Derrick Grissom, and I am super excited. This is my very first podcast called Limitless. And as you know, when you think about limitless, your potential is limitless. That's my motto. I have two inspirational guests. They're two of the favorite women in my life, Miss Dorothy Bell and Miss Denise Thomas. And we're going to talk about why leadership is important. The whole purpose of Limitless podcast is to inspire you to be the best version of yourself. So we're going to always have guests that I feel that can inspire you and motivate you to be the best versions. And today we're going to start with these two phenomenal ladies here. So with that said, Miss Dorothy Bell, let's talk about you and why you're so inspirational. Now, get to my audience. Dorothy is an inspiration in my life, and I've known her for about 15 years, but I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm going to let her share some things about her that she wants you to know, and then we'll move on.
Thank you, Derrick. I am very excited to be here because this is my opportunity to give back and to help others achieve their goals and aspirations. I have a story that I can go on and talk about forever, but let me start about me, who I am, and how I got here. I started out, I'm going to start from age 16 years old. I was a single parent. I graduated high school. I entered into the workforce very early at 18 years of age. I was a college student at 18. I managed to get a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, all while being a single parent. I had my daughter at 16 years old, my first apartment at 17. And sometimes people ask, how did you get here? What happened? How did you become the successful person? And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about mentorship and why it's important to me. And I wouldn't be the person that I am today, Derrick, if it wasn't for the mentors in my life. I've had so many mentors, some formal mentors, some informal. And mentorship, I believe, is the only way to succeed in this world. I mean, you can do mentorship in the workforce. You can do it in your personal life and relationships. You can do it with your relationship with God, but you need someone to help guide you.
Thank you, Dorothy. That is very powerful. And I can speak firsthand. You've been a mentor to me for the last 15 years. So that's going to be very inspirational to the audience when we talk about mentorship, because I can attest firsthand on the importance of it. And yes, you're my mentor. And that's one of the reasons why you're on the first episode. So thank you. And then none other than my mentor, sometimes my mama, Miss Denise Thomas. I'm going to let Denise give a few words about what she wants to discuss in herself, but this is a very, very powerful, influential lady, and you're going to see why soon.
Well, thank you for the introduction, Derrick. My name is Denise Thomas. I am a Midwesterner by birth, and I proudly claim that because Midwesterners have certain values, and one of that is hard work and a sense of community. And these are things that have been important to me, that have driven my life as I've gone on through it. I moved away from the Midwest when I was 17 years old, going to college at Mount Holyoke College. I am the first in my family of 10 to get a college degree. I am the fifth child, but the first to get a college degree. I took all of those Midwestern values with me as I went to college. And my goal when I decided to go to college was to go as far away from home as possible. And those values were tested, and they have supported me. Mentorship has been important to me as a universal mother. That's what I call myself, a universal mother, because all God's children belong to me. And I want to see them all succeed. Mentorship has been important to me because I want to see my children, all of them, to succeed. And that's what I'd like to talk about today.
Thank you, ladies. So as you can see, the theme for today is mentorship. And I want to dive right in on what that means. So Dorothy, we'll start with you. Talk to me about your relationship with mentees as a mentor and how that has helped you as well as helped them.
You know, it's amazing when you think about where you are in life and how you've come and how you've gotten here. So I think about my success, and I say to myself and others that I didn't get here alone. I needed help, and I didn't realize how much help I was getting and how important it was. And so now that I'm here at this point, then I call myself successful because we're still here, we're alive, we're doing well, we're in corporate America, we've survived. Those kinds of things lead me to believe that I'm successful. But I realized that the importance of my life is to give back and is to pay it forward. It's important. I have had several mentees along the way, and I continue to have mentees. I think of one of these young lady I met some years ago. I was in Southwest Atlanta. I had just started my business, property management business. I had my real estate license, and I was managing about 200 apartments in Southwest Atlanta. And there was this young lady that really struck my attention, Derrick. She was a woman who had 2 children by the time she was 17 years old. She was raped by her brother. Her first child was 14, when she was at 14. And she was a lady of the hour, night hour. And I would look and peer through the window of my office, and I would see her at 5 o'clock every day going with her purse to work. And this is what she called work. This is how she provided for her family. And one of the people in the neighborhood said, "Oh, Miss Bell, you know, she's a night owl. She's a lady of the hour at night." I said, "Really?" I decided that day when I watched her for the last time, it was about 4 months in, every day, 5 minutes to 5, grab her purse to go to work. And I said, I'm gonna mentor this young lady. So I called her to my office and I said, "You know what? I want to give you a job to work in the office." And she looked at me and she said she had dropped out of high school. And I said, "It's okay, I'll train you." And I brought her in my office. I said, "Your name is no longer Patrina." And I proceeded to tell her that they would call you Miss, I'm going to call her B for the sake of keeping her story private. They're going to call you Miss B from now on. And I'm going to train you. And I saw this young lady go from a street girl, working the streets, to becoming an office manager. Not only that, I trained her to get her GED. She went on to get a bachelor's degree, and now she has purchased a home. So why do I mentor? I don't even know that when I look at mentees, it's something that comes over me. I like to do it informally. I like to pick and choose people that I see that they have a certain characteristic, and I want to invest in that. And this is a part of my paying forward. That's one incident that really touches my heart because I was able to change this woman's life. And I saw all of the traits that was needed to be successful. And I just went in, I grabbed her, I put her under my wings. And to see her now, it's just mind-boggling to see how much a little bit of encouragement. I used to train her to do her GED. I used to work with her after work from 5 to 6. And I told her she had to commit to the time. And that young lady got her GED after dropping out of high school at 9th grade. So why am I a mentor? Because I see these success stories over and over again. And I can take up the whole time telling you stories, but I believe that my role is to pay it forward and to give what I've gotten over the years. So it's very important to me to be a mentor.
That is a very, very powerful story. As someone who also dropped out of high school and got his GED, my GED, and went from GED to MBA, I know there is nothing easy about that. And understanding her background and what she had to endure and what she was doing for survival, yes, and how you stepped in and gave her that guidance. That is why Limitless and this podcast is so important. People need to hear that story. Your potential is limitless. It does not matter what you're going through. Mentorship is important. Ms. Denise, please share a story or something about mentorship. This is powerful.
You know, when I think of mentorship, a lot of times we think about perhaps guiding someone to go to college, and we think about guiding them into the workforce. I like to think of on a smaller level than that. Where I come from in Kansas City, on the block where I live, we all knew each other, and all of us knew our parents, and the parents from any home, had the ability to discipline us. I recall one day I was in court. I was serving as a public defender in the domestic violence unit at the Atlanta Municipal Court, and the court was in session. The judge was on the bench, and this young boy, about seven years old, kept running in and out of the courtroom. There was a door on the right and a door on the left, and he thought this was his playground. He would jump up and run all around and come in the other door and run all around while court was in session. I know his mother was in court, and she was probably involved in a case that was before the judge. So after a while, I got up. The little boy ran out the courtroom. I followed him out, and I stood there and talked to him. And it's kind of a funny situation. And the little boy paid me one of the most unique compliments that I've received in my life. I told him, "You're going to go in that courtroom and you're going to sit down. I better not see you running and ripping through this courtroom. This is a place of business and things that are very important that happen here." And the little boy craned his neck up to me and he said, "You must be a teacher." And I said, "Why did you say that?" He said, "Because you are so stern." And when you mentor people, sometimes we have to take that stern position. Sometimes you take a position of being soft and gentle, but you have to know when to use the resources that you have. And I have this powerful voice. I have this height. I have this girth. And when I talk to children, especially, we need to make sure that they understand their role and their place in this world, and that they need to be careful how to conduct themselves. And if their mama won't correct them, this universal mother will.
I love that story. And let me tell you, the fact that the 7-year-old knew what stern was is impressive to me. So that lets me know he knew to get himself together. He just needed someone with authoritative power to tell him to do so. So thank you for that. Mentorship is that was mentorship in real time right there. And as you stated, if your mama won't do it, universal mama will. I love that, Miss Universal Mama. So my next question to you, Dorothy, and I want to hear from both of you, how does a mentee maintain relationship with the mentor? I am sure in all of your different mentees, you've had situations where you wanted to make sure that bond stayed very close and tight. How do you do that, and how is it reciprocated from both ends?
Okay. So a lot of times people mix mentorship with coaching and sponsorship. 2 different things, 3 different things. A coach is a person who guides you, provide guidance. They're constantly talking to you, helping you with your career choices, some decisions you have to make. That's coaching, right? And the responsibility when you have a coach is reciprocated, back and forth. The mentee will talk to the coach talks to the mentee, the mentor talks to the mentee. So it's a back and forth thing. Then you have what you call a sponsorship. That's a person that's in your office, perhaps, as an example, that will sponsor you, will talk about the great things that you're doing, will help you with promotions and help you get recognition when you deserve recognition. But a mentorship is pretty much one-sided because the responsibility is on the mentee to contact the mentor. And a lot of times I hear young women and young people always say, "I haven't heard from my mentor." Well, that is your responsibility as a mentee to contact your mentor, because that person is supposed to be there for you and to help you when you need them, when you need guidance, when you need help, that you have to make a life-changing decision. So it's one way when you're looking at mentorship. I believe. And I believe sometimes they can overlap because as a mentor, I could still sponsor you and speak up about you and some of the things that you're doing, some great things. But a constant relationship requires you as a mentee to engage your mentor whenever you need him or her.
I really like that. And I like the distinction between mentorship, sponsorship, and coaching. That's very applicable, especially in the corporate world. But I would just say in life, you really need to know the difference. So thank you for breaking that down and making that distinction. Denise, or Miss Universal Mom, you don't have me calling you that throughout the whole episode. Talk to me about your perspective on that bond relationship between mentor and mentee and how to keep it strong.
You know, especially with African American people, when you're searching for a mentor, a lot of times, as I was taken from my all-Black community and went to Mount Holyoke College, which is a majority, really majority white college in New England. And when you think about trying to create a mentorship, very often we don't know what to do. We are uncomfortable in the position and we don't know how to create a bond with someone that you want to help you. I think that the most important thing that you need to do, as Dorothy says, is create that bond yourself. And it's maybe awkward at first, but I think what you have to do is make the connection and make it on a level that you can deal with, that's important to you. Sometimes it's just simply just checking in with your mentor or reporting how things are going with you. It's like creating a friendship with someone who has the authority to help you. So you want to be able to just check in and say, I'm taking XYZ courses this semester. What do you think of that? I want to get involved in extracurricular activities. Do you have any suggestions? My goal is to become a lawyer. That was what my goal was. My goal was to become a lawyer. And what courses do you think that I should take in order to do that? What skills should I develop? These are things that a mentee needs to do in order to create a bond with their mentor. They need to, as Dorothy said, they need to make sure that they are the one who's making the move forward. Mentors, as I know, the really good ones are inundated with people asking them for advice. And so you need to get what you need to get from your mentor, and it's incumbent upon you to seek them out and keep in close contact with them.
Wow, that is very deep. Let me tell you, what I heard from both of you in summing up, what I heard is mentees have to be very intentional in their approach. So it's not just asking someone to be your mentor, but then not going ghost and expecting your mentor to follow you. You have to be intentional in seeking advice. And I'm just glad I'm in compliance with my two mentors. Because as you know, you have mentored me and I seek your advice all the time over the last 15 years. So without even knowing your perspectives like this, I'm in compliance. So just know I'm in compliance with my mentors, mentees. Last question I'm going to ask both of you, because I'm curious to know this. So if you can give me your brief overview of this. We talked about mentees, the majority of this, but now I want to give me an example of your mentor, because there is no way you could be at your level. And as you stated, Dorothy, you've had people to help you along the way. Give us an example of someone you're the mentee, they're the mentor, and they've helped you along the way.
You know, Derrick, I'm glad you brought that up, because I always believe that I'm continuing to have mentors as I develop my career, as I make career choices and changes. I'm always seeking mentors. But there's a couple of pivotal points in my life that really changed my life when I was a young professional in school, in politics. I became very involved in politics at a very early age. And I met this woman, And sometimes you hear people say, oh, women could be, well, no, all the women in my life were dynamic, Denise. I mean, fabulous. This woman helped me navigate my career. I worked at a government office, which was the borough president of Brooklyn, he's the governor of 2.3 million people, the overseer. I was in that office and I met this wonderful woman who helped me navigate politics. And I was so high on the totem pole at such a young age, to the point where I was organizing Nelson Mandela to visit New York City right out of jail. I was 23 years old on campaign trails. I worked with government officials at the highest level, but I needed a mentor. And this woman engaged me. She was very inspirational in my life. I've been to an inauguration, to the ball with Clinton because of her. She guided me of how to navigate the world of politics and all of the distractions, because I'm a young, at the time, beautiful, smart, outgoing person. Of course, all the negativity is there. There were just vultures waiting to take me in, and she would constantly guide me. Wear this, don't wear that, do this, don't do that, button up, button down, skirt too short, skirt too long. I'm 24 years old, and I was able to survive a political career early on to the point where I ran for public office because she decided to put my name on a ballot and I won the election by a fluke. I could not believe I won, but she was the person who was inspirational in my life. And I went on to work. I was appointed by the governor of New York City to work in banking and finance. I was one of the few people that were brought into the agency, that was sworn in. I was appointed. I could go on and on and on and on, but it was my friend, Marilyn Mosley. We're still friends today. And she's a woman of stature. I mean, small in height and state, but she is absolutely wonderful. And because of her, I'm the person that I am. And I can go on and on. I've had mentors, even in my current job. Working here in Atlanta, I worked at state banking department, and I had a boss who mentored me and sponsored me and coached me, all three of those things. And we're best friends now, and that's Donna Tyler. Whenever I have a situation where I need advice, I could always call Donna, because she was the person and is the person that continues to mentor me. And I think Denise mentors me. She doesn't know it's informal, but she mentors me. Whenever I have questions, I just got a huge job offer and I was trying to negotiate. Who did I call? Denise. So you constantly, life calls for you to constantly get mentors. And I think it's very important that we have mentors and we realize and we acknowledge how they change our lives and how we've become these people, successful people, because of people like a Denise that has poured into me. So I think it's very important, and my life has totally changed because of, first, my Marilyn Mosley friend, and now my Denise Thomas, McLeod Thomas, and my friends Donna Tyler. Mentorship works. That's my last statement. It works.
It does, and that was powerful. And you're still young and beautiful. You can add that to what you just said. Miss Denise, talk to me about your mentor.
As I thought about this project, I really thought that I really didn't have mentors. The life that I led, leaving home when I did, and not having anyone who I could go to and say, I'm getting ready to go to college at Mount Holyoke College. Is there anything you need to tell me? Or is there anything I need to know? I didn't have anybody like that. But I did have a 10th grade teacher. And I would just tell you, I had to give justice to a young man who kept being moved around the school because he would open his locker. I know this is going way back. He would open his locker and slam the door against the person who was next door to him. They kept moving him around. There was a teacher's kid who was next to him, and somehow they were able to get him moved away from her. Well, anyway, he ended up with the locker next to mine, and he was going to start that mess where he thought he could pull this locker door open and knock me upside my head. Well, I had to give him justice, and I ended up getting suspended from school. And as a result of that, I ended up being moved from the A-level courses down to B-level courses. And when I was in the 10th grade, I was in B-level courses, even though I was knocking the top off of those standardized tests. And they seemed to have that a reason for putting you in A-level courses. Well, in 10th grade, my English teacher, Lavera Lumpkins, came to me and said, Denise, would you like to work harder? The class that I was in, her English class, was not difficult to me. She said to me, would you like to work harder? And she requested that I get moved into at least the English A-level courses. And that was a pivotal time in my life because it put me in the right place and at the right time to talk with the right people in order to get into Mount Holyoke College. And that is one of the most important decisions I made. The only college that I applied to. And it has given me, and it has been a bridge to every good thing that has happened in my life. It gave me what I needed to do in order to get into law school at a time when a lot of women were not going to law school. It gave me the confidence, it gave me the skills, it gave me the writing ability to be effective and powerful, to be able to say what I want to say, how I want to say it, and when I want to say it, and I can do it at the stroke of a pen. That woman, Lavera Lumpkin, and my 11th and 12th grade teachers, Theodore Burnett, those two women put me on a path that they gave me everything I needed to survive in this world.
Thank you. Powerful, powerful. And that is why you are a successful attorney and judge today. So thank you, ladies. This was powerful. I really appreciate you. Now you all see why they are my mentors. I have some powerful ladies on my team, and I am thankful for that. And I look up to the both of you. This is Limitless. Thank you for joining us. This is the first podcast. Hopefully you understand your potential is limitless. And while you're thinking about your limitless potential, you'll learn more about these two ladies if you get my book, my new book that I just launched last weekend, actually, Limitless. Get it on Amazon. Go to my website, mylimitlessgrowth.com. Follow me on YouTube. You're going to hear more about Limitless. This was the first episode, but many more to come. Have a great one.